In my new book, Stock Market Mama, I had discussed a section called The Dark Side of Motherhood. And I noticed that as many people read that book, I kept getting that comment, that thing of, does motherhood actually have dark side? Well, it does, right? And there's no shame in acknowledging that something everybody calls the most wonderful experience in life for a woman also has a dark side. When you say that, like for a lot of people, anytime you ask them, oh, how about your motherhood, how did it go, it's like, yeah, it's such a wonderful experience. It doesn't matter if that person is dying. It's such a wonderful experience, and all that joy and everything. Yes, and I don't deny that. Motherhood has different sides, just like anything in life. They will say the good, the bad, the ugly, right? And for motherhood, I would say the joyful, the stressful, and the dark side, right? And why is it important for us to be able to acknowledge all aspects of motherhood, including the dark side? It's important because except you acknowledge that those dark sides exist, which they really do, by the time you get down to the details and start discussing with women, then a lot of women who has gone through motherhood, or if you are watching it yourself and you can already agree with what I'm saying, there's a lot of things that happen that most people either feel ashamed to talk about it or don't even want to talk about it, so that they don't relieve this like trauma, because it can be triggering for them and everything. But despite all these things, it's still important for us to talk about and acknowledge the dark side of motherhood. Why? Because it's going to help mothers, or it's going to help women prepare as they go for their first or next child. So if you are listening to me, you already have one child, you already have two children, you may want three, or you have one, you may want two, or you have none yet and you may have one soon. You're soon to be mom. You get. So it's important, because when you understand that motherhood has a dark side and you're able to acknowledge it, it helps you to prepare. It helps you to prepare. It helps you to prepare. So that's why it's important for us to acknowledge it, right? Today, I want us to focus more on what motherhood does to the ambition of a woman. What motherhood does to the ambition of a woman. So from being pregnant and I don't know if you've heard of mom's brain. When they talk about mom's brain, right? So mom's brain simply means a situation where maybe because of lack of some vitamins, you are forgetting things, you're not able to read. Me, for one, when I was pregnant, and I'm somebody that loves to read a lot. I love to read a lot. I'm somebody that loves to read a lot. But when I was pregnant, it was very difficult for me to read and actually understand what I was reading. Like, I could read the words, but to understand them, it was difficult. During the first trimester, I had this moment where it felt like I've just lost all ambitions in life. And I'm really someone that I will consider to be very ambitious, with my career, with my work, with everything I do. But the moment I got pregnant, it was more like I just didn't want to work again. And it was as if I just wanted somebody to just take good care of me, and I would just take good care of the baby, and that's it. That thing is something that happened to women, where you see a woman, she's so ambitious, but the more children she gives birth to, the more she begins to, delay her ambition, get rid of them. Okay, recently I was talking with a woman. She was saying something like, oh, she wanted to start a business, right? And she had all these things mapped out. She has even started, but later on she was like, you know what? I've really given it a thought. Let me focus on the kids now and focus on my work, Later on I'll revisit it. Between me and you, when do you think she's going to revisit it? A couple of years later. Yeah, somebody else may say, but then what's wrong with that? But the point is, a business she's starting a couple of years later versus a business she's starting now, in a couple of years later, where do you think she will have been that she wouldn't have to be, because she have to delay those dreams? And these are realities. So first thing is that I call it brain swap, that happens where You very ambitious and everything, but because of motherhood, you see yourself pushing your dream to the back burner. Not even, you're not compelled by anybody. It's just your brain will just tell you to do that, right? So these are things that happen to women because motherhood has entered the equation.